Hi everybody, it's Paul here from Fat Boy Sewing, on to my next adventure, this time to actually buy some material so that I can start making garments. I've come here to my local sort of craft workshop, Pennies. I'm going to need a lot of help and sort of ask some questions, but we'll see what happens, and hopefully at the end of it I'll have some material. So I'm back at home after going shopping, and I'm very pleased to say it was a very successful trip. The man who owned the store was a lovely guy who really helped and talked me through a bunch of stuff, and I feel like I've got everything I need to actually start making a t-shirt and making my first project. But let's just go through some of the stuff that I bought. I do have a little confession to make, that one of the items I purchased was actually online, which was, and that arrived the other day, and that was this massive t-shirt pattern. I won't unveil it because there's just so much, it's huge. But as we are Fat Boy Sewing, I obviously had to get a t-shirt pan for big guys, so they're all XL sizes. So hopefully they should be big enough for my belly and Stefan's belly, my husband. And that's what we're going to be using to actually cut the garments and stuff like that. But then today at my successful shop, the first thing I purchased was needles. Now, I've got some needles that came with the sewing machine, but when talking to the guy at the shop today, he said that these would be better for this type of material. He could have been conning me. I don't know. He seemed like a really nice guy who seemed willing to help me out, so I kind of trusted him, and it was only £4.50. So, and it does say jersey needles, and the type of material I bought was jersey knit, so it seemed to make sense. Next up was cotton. Obviously, I can't do any sewing without any cotton, so that was pretty obvious. I obviously got quite a lot of cotton because I have absolutely no belief that the first try will be any good whatsoever, so I needed to make sure I had plenty of cotton for a second go around or more. Next up, I asked him, I had a bit of a question for him, because a lot of t-shirts that you get, not only for big guys, do I not have, they usually aren't long enough, and I want kind of a longer t-shirt to sort of tuck in. The other thing that really annoys me about just any t-shirts is that they're kind of so thin these days that the edging around the collar is so stretchy and comes deformed, and I just don't like it. I think it doesn't look very nice. So I was asking him about how can I make a collar that's a bit more rigid and less stretchy. So he gave me two solutions. I don't know if I'm going to be any good at either of them. The first was this stuff here. I don't really know what to do with it, but it's something to do with like an iron-on thing. I can't remember what he called it, but you kind of iron it onto the material, and it's supposed to give it some rigidity. So I bought some of that. It was like 50p, or I don't exactly know, but very cheap, not very expensive. The other thing was just some kind of, again, I should have written down or recorded what he'd said, but this is kind of more of a less stretchy material used for that I can use instead of like the actual material I bought to give it a bit more structure and rigidity. So we'll see how that goes. And then obviously the last thing that I purchased was absolutely the material. So I just went with straight up black material. I was a bit shocked because I asked him for 3 meters, because there's quite a lot of it, as you can see. But I was just a bit worried that I'm going to cock it up the first time, and I didn't want to have to keep going back. So I said, I'll take 3 meters, and if by some miracle the first one I make is actually wearable or any good, I can just use the rest of the material to try it again and make a second one, because the plan isn't just to stop after I've made a t-shirt and never sew again. So I thought better to be safe than sorry, and give myself enough material for if I cock up. So that was it. I think I've got everything I need. The last thing I'm going to do is, I read online, or saw online rather, that it can be wise to wash your material and dry it before you sort of cut it out and make anything, because obviously that will then avoid any shrinkage. That will get that done before you then use it and make it, so that when you then are wearing it and wash it, etc., there'll be no shrinkage if you put it in the tumble dryer or what have you. So that will be what I'm doing. And then, on to making the garment. So let's see what happens. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.